Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Monday morning trading room. I trust everybody managed all right last week without me. Overall, it looks like it was a fairly interesting week. Here's the daily chart. This, of course, for the NASDAQ. And it looks as though we had a couple of bearish days. The market's settling out pretty quick here when it encountered 7,300. And then some very, very bullish sessions. Even this morning, we're opening with quite a gap. You can see we're trading at around 74, 75-ish. And yet we left off at or near 7,400 last week. So there's a little bit of a downside gap here. And of course, serious resistance as we get back to these highs. So the high 74.45 essentially is a number that you kind of want to tuck in the back of your mind. Just kind of keep a handle on that one. If the market makes another run at those prices, or whether it's going to try to fill in the gap first, well, that remains to be seen. Right now, it looks as though the early bullishness is continuing. We have a little bit of a inverted head and shoulders here. You can see the market, if we considered this a sideways trading range, pre-market, we had the breakout, the retest, the failure to continue lower. That usually means you expect the market to go higher. For those of you who like that first in-sync eagle signal, well, we've got it going right now. In fact, you could, I won't do a market buy. You could look to buy in above the high of this current bar. And the whole point of the in-sync eagle signal is just that you're looking to capture some early market momentum. Because very often, especially on a Monday, typically on a Monday, the market will try to get busy early because things have happened over the weekend. There might be news coming into the market. And as such, very often you see a lot of activity right out of the open. Well, in this case, our in-sync eagle signal actually came back here, so I'm a little bit late on it. The first signal came in, right here, I suppose, right on the opening buzzer. This is not a signal I do very often. I'm not a fan of early trades. I'm sure I've mentioned that time and again. For me personally, and trading, I believe, is a very personal business, I like to see the market feel itself out, establish something resembling a trend. And then once I have a better idea which way the market is leaning, then I can take a look at buying or selling accordingly. But for me, an early signal can be very, very difficult to get a hold of. All right, I'm going to give them to this swing right here. Ideally, it looks as though we are encountering a little bit of trendline resistance. Ideally, we will see some buying come back into the market. There we go. That's going to confirm that there's actually some support here. And as they get up here to challenge the highs, or if they get up there to challenge the highs, I can consider rolling my stops up. And then if if we can see a break of this high, because I have a feeling what we're running into now is this kind of thing, a little bit of a pushback from the bearish trend line. But if we can get above here, then there's a very good chance the market will challenge these highs right here. Now, you Raptor traders need not feel left out. You can do the exact same thing on the Raptor. In fact, very often on the Raptor, or even the Falcon for that matter, I wouldn't recommend it so much for the Hawk because the Hawk produces so many signals anyhow. But with the Raptor, you can do your first in sync signal. So you're looking for a buy signal because your band is bullish, right? Both bands are stacked in a bullish fashion. So you would look to buy versus looking to short. And it looks like in this instance, it did not work out. It remains to be seen if my stops were just too tight or whether that was a true failure. In which case the market may well head lower. You know, when I test that signal in hindsight, it works most of the time. Like 80% of the time, 8 out of 10 times it will work. Go figure the time I show it to you, it did not work out. Although, to be fair to myself, or maybe to excuse myself, had I entered, well, no, I probably still would have got stopped at the same place. I was going to say, had I entered here, I probably could have got the trade to break even, but no, you know, realistically, I probably still would have left my stop right here and still been tagged. Oh no, now they're heading a little bit higher. Don't tell me I got tagged because my stop was too tight. The Eagle, very neutral right now. The Hawk, well, we got a bit of a sloppy 4-arrow consolidation going here to the short side. The Falcon, a little conflicted, but the Raptor is going to come back here with a sell signal. We've got the clouds crossing. We've got the pullback. The next signal that emerges will be the number 1 signal right there. And you can anticipate that. And it looks like if we allow it to get below this low right here, the Bollingers will be in sync, and it's moving a little bit faster than I can explain everything. But you could use this little hiccup right here as a second push opportunity to get into the trade. And seeing how they're not heading higher, maybe we'll try to stretch it out here to the short side. In fact, how high are we? Oh, we're very high. Look at, we're well into the resistance lines. Where's the median line? Oh, we got a little ways to go to get to the median line. That's that gold line. The median line simply shows us where we are in relation to the other lines. Namely more bullish or bearish. And for somebody who doesn't like to do early trades, I'm sure doing a lot of early trades here. With large opening gaps like the one we have this morning, it's always a mystery. Is it an expansion gap, or is it a gap the market will try to fill? Another reason to wait and see whether the market establishes a trend. Okay, we're back into the hard edge now. We should anticipate a reaction as they retest this last swing. I may be a little bit tight for that. See, the proper stop for this would be back here. Don't do this at home, but I'm just going to show you. Ideally, you want to stay 2 swings back. There's swing 1, there's swing 2. The reason being, okay, you get into the trade, very often the market will challenge the last swing. And as it does this, it's almost as though the sellers allow it, and you can make an argument that they do. The buyers do the opposite. And what they do is then they tag you out of your orders only to renew the market's original direction. They're tagging the weak players, the small players, the guys that can't run a very deep stop. Now, your stop always needs to be balanced with your account size, of course. You never want to be risking more than you can afford to lose. But at the same time, a stop loss is not a loss unless it gets hit. So this here, a very good example how very often they will challenge the last swing high, but it's very unlikely they will be able to get 2 swings back. And if you are patient with your stop, if you're the type of person who likes to run out a trade as far as possible, keeping your stop further back, of course, will keep you in the market longer as well. This here now another number 1 signal. It did not trip. We only have the background highlight. We don't actually have the number, but I suspect we'll get a number 3 signal here, a hard edge bounce. It just seems like they want to try to get into that gap, and yet, oh, there we go. Okay. Got a little bit of a move in our favor. That quick little hop tells me that they're stopping out the buyers. The buyers that bought down at these levels who had their stops just below these lows, some of them got tagged. And if we can continue a little bit lower here, we should see a rather steady progression to the short side. And we would have now hit our high probability profit objective for the Raptor. Oh, no, sorry, my mistake, not quite there. Very close though. And it's so tempting to bring this trade now to break even. Well, the buyer's not letting go. Let's see if the sellers can make them. Now at this point, you might consider rolling your stops. We have a little bit of a triple top type thing here near the hard edge, which would imply that the market is relatively strong there, and if it gets above there, it will probably continue higher. Hopefully we will breach this low and I won't need to make that decision. Ugh. Scoundrels. All right, here I'll bring it in a little bit. I'm not going to make it overly tight, but maybe we'll take it here about halfways. We should have seen a breach of these lows. The market may well be a little constipated here at the moment. Okay, we're getting there. Come on. You can do it. Okay, last chance. We're back to the hard edge. Need to see those sellers show up and hold this resistance zone around the 74.70 mark. Come on. There we go. Come on. Give us that hard edge bounce. All right, there's now the number 3 signal. Oh, painful. Just will not breach these lows here. That's kind of what we're looking at. We got this little trend line thing going on, and every time they break it, the buyers push back. I guess it's that strong overnight momentum that is supporting the buyers. Well, here they go again. Now you can see we're getting a little bit of candy striping going on now. Obviously, we are in a sideways trading range. The hawk here, very, very conflicted. And the falcon too, actually going back and forth quite a bit here on the signals. The trend line keeps changing. Right now, it's a little bit more bullish again. Yeah, there you go. We should have seen more downside momentum there, just not happening right now. Another reason not to trade early. Oh gosh, sounds like sour grapes, I know. Well, we've definitely got ourselves a bit of a sideways trading range. Might be easiest to see it here on the Eagle, since actually pre-market, this is the range that has confined the marketplace. And unfortunately, with sideways trading ranges, really, there's only two strategies you can use. One is to buy down here near the bottom quarter, bottom third. That's where all the buyers are. Sell up here in the top quarter, top third, because that's where all the sellers are. Anything in the middle is going to be very difficult to trade. Or you wait for the breakout. You allow the market to break out. You allow it to retest. Very important. And then you look for evidence that the market is going to honor the breakout and keep going in the new direction. Once the market breaks the trading range, it actually tips its hand. It has to go one way or the other after a breakout. Okay, looks like we're going to break the bottom end now. Now, finally, after they tagged me out. Okay, so here now the breakout. What we're doing is we're waiting for a retest. Ideally, if you have the patience, you want to see at least 2 bars counter. 1 bar, what happens, sometimes you'll get 1 counter bar, and I can't find an example. Well, here you go. Here's 1 counter bar, and then the market just comes back and goes with the direction. So you want to ideally see 2 counter bars. That gives you a firm area of support which you could short below. That's what you're looking for. You're looking for an area that you can enter a trade with a reasonable amount of confidence. Okay, there we go. So what I would do in this case now is I would enter my just in case order to sell below here. And what we're looking for is evidence that the market will continue lower, in which case it will fill our order. We're going to get signals on the other tools which will coincide. Here on the Raptor, we're going to produce a number 1 signal now that the clouds are in sync. Here on the Falcon, we're going to produce a trend change signal if the market continues lower. All right, now that we're seeing the retest, ideally, again, I'd like to see 2 bars here in favor of the new trend. Then what you can do is you can place a buy order. We don't have the second bar yet. I'm just showing you because sometimes the market will take off and not give me a second chance. If we have 2 bear bars now, this is the retest that's going on. Then I can place my order to buy above there because it will prove that the retest will fail or it will continue in the direction of the breakout. See, this is why I don't like a single bar, because you get this little alternating thing happening. The market may bring you in and then all of a sudden drop off lower. See what I mean? Okay, well, at least the momentum's in my favor. This now is the point. Now that we have 2 counter bars, this here is the point, sorry, where you would like to place your entry order. But I got a little bit of a quick uptick. Shows you why you shouldn't park your order on your chart. Boy, what a good session today. I'm showing you all the things you shouldn't do. All right, well, you guys started this. Let's keep going now. You can see here on the Raptor now you produce a number one signal after that quick little counter move. The Falcon actually giving us a trend change signal a little bit ahead of the curve. And now they stall again. There we go. We're getting a little bit of giddy up, maybe. Now the hard edge bounce signal on the Raptor. You're thinking about it. Look at that. Wow, they're brutal here this morning. Just crazy back and forth. You know, the worst part about this is not getting stopped out, which is very likely what's going to happen here. But after this big move, which I shouldn't have been involved in because my entry should have been up here, the market is very likely going to head lower. So as convoluted as this all is now, this was our trading range. Oops, sorry. This was our trading range, like so. We had the breakout, we had the retest, and now the market is trying to head lower. If it gets below this low, which it very likely will, we will probably see a pretty decent move lower. So, yes, this was a little unfortunate. I should not have. Note to self, don't leave open orders hanging around your chart. Here now a number one order with a second push opportunity. Likewise here on the Falcon, although it looks as though the Falcon came in a little bit early again. We had the late filter entry signal back here. That worked out quite nicely. All right, so here now the reverse on that mistaken buy. Okay, so the next zone down here, very likely profit target. And you can see we're starting to get some of that momentum as we are stopping out some of these buyers at these levels here. We'll get an exit order in play. Okay, should probably roll my stop to break even now. We have found the high probability profit target, so those of you smart enough to take profit on target would be pretty happy right now. Shaking a bit of the rust off here this morning. Very indecisive. Some of these moves should have had greater follow through, and I suppose to be fair, I should have taken profit when I had the chance. All right, a little bit of a lucky break. Once again, the high probability profit objective has been met. So the profit is there. I'm trying to squeak a few extra dollars out of this, and maybe to my hurt. All right, here we go. Well, at least that one was a break-even trade. All right, let's put that away. If I would only take my own advice and take profit on target. Okay, and now we're kind of pushing back into that trading range again. The hawk here getting bullish. You know, the downside I think should have had a little bit more follow through. Maybe it's time to try a buy again. Although I have to say the market seems very balanced right now. We've seen some decent moves higher and lower, but for the most part, we haven't really moved that far off of the 74.70 line, which is pretty much where we began the day, give or take. here we are kind of drifting back. You know, we do have this number 2 signal if I was really interested in getting long. I've got a trend change signal here developing on the Falcon, and I've already had first micro macro cross signals here on the Hawk. Maybe we'll take a look at this trend change signal. My thinking is we've broken all kinds of support to the downside, and yet there hasn't been any follow through to the short side. The Bollinger Suite here is obviously bullish. We're still within the bullish bands of the support and resistance suite. All right, let's take this, and just for a change, I will take profit on target. Ron's asking, does the DTS include the Bollinger Suite also? I see it in all your screens. The Bollinger Band Suite here is an add-on, and it's available in the Indicator Warehouse. And right now, of course, this week we've got this special promotion going. Hold on one second. I will get you the particulars. So if you go to Indicator Warehouse, come on, there we go. And you search here in the search icon, Bollinger Suite. This is the Ninja 7 version. The one I'm showing is Ninja 8, of course. It's a very innovative tool. It's one that we featured on our Rabbit Hole Friday, I guess almost a month ago now. And the nice thing, I liked it so much that I actually kept it on my chart. And it's a very useful tool, I think, and it's fully customizable. At any rate, this week you can actually get it for a 20% discount. And I will put that discount code in the window for everyone. It has to be in all caps if you're interested. But yeah, I liked it so much that I put it on all my charts. It tends to be a pretty good confirmation tool of a signal. So when your Bollinger is in sync with your signal, the tendency will be, most times, for the signal to work out. So let's say here you're working with the Raptor. So you have a bearish band. What you're going to look for is you're going to look for a bearish signal. Well, here we produce the number 1 signal, and you can see the Bollingers were in sync with that. And we actually had a half decent follow through on that signal. So here we go now with the number 2 signal. Had I been a little bit more aggressive, here's the counter trend signal. You can see the Bollingers were already in sync with that. They were already bullish. And again, it would have gotten up to my high probability target. I'm a little bit late on it because I'm doing the Falcon signal here, the Falcon trend change signal. They're thinking about it. Here, let's go back here to the Falcon trade. Trying to nurse it a little bit higher. like I said, 74.70, we haven't ventured that far off the mark. Overall, the day still fairly neutral. Come on. Here, we'll give them a little push. There we go. Get up there. We've got a late filter entry signal brewing now as the market still flounders somewhat. Well, it started busy, had some decent ranges. Oh my, now we're just stalled again. Oh, this is painful. See, now they get tired, so they get a run. They're gonna make a run at the bottom end. And ideally, your stop 2 swings back, ideally is back here, but that should probably do. The crest in the trend line is also very often a good place to put your stop. It represents an average of the pricing in this area. So if you can stay above or below the average price. No, no love. No love from the market today. All right, so we've got a little bit of bullishness going on. I can now roll my stops, and we'll see if they take out these highs, this little swing high right here, we should hit our profit objective. At this point, it's up to you how aggressive you want to be with your stop. You can either roll with any bar that has a little tail to it, or knowing that if the market cannot breach this high, it's probably going to go lower, you could run your stops even more aggressively and keep them maybe 2 bars back, 1 or 2 bars back. All right, here's a little bit of a pushback. Come on. Buyers are trying to do another little trend change here, but it seems like all the momentum has gone out of the marketplace. I don't know what's going on here. We had that early flurry, and now it's trading as though we're in the middle of August. Nope, I don't think they're going to give it to me here. So, when there are days like this where the market's just not cooperating, you need to recognize that, and you need to have a loss limit on your day. You need to have that point where you say, okay, the market's just not behaving. Maybe I'll go do something else rather than sit here and lose money. I know it seems like a simple concept, and yet you would be surprised how many people feel like, well, they call it revenge trading, where you're trading trying to get your money back. And we all know the market doesn't care. The market doesn't care whether you're profitable or not. The market doesn't care about you as a person. But there are days where the market will just not be cooperating. the market will just be dead sideways. You'll get a lot of chop, you get a lot of false moves, and you'll save yourself a lot of money if you recognize those kinds of days early and just take the rest of the day off. Really, come back tomorrow. There's always another day. There's also the danger that you personalize a losing trade. A losing trade does not reflect on you as a person. Now, I know we can't help take it personally when we have a losing trade. It's just no fun, right? It's much more fun to make money. It's never fun to lose money. But even though the trade did not work out, you should not think that somehow that makes you a bad person. All you did was misjudge what the market was doing. Try to learn from the loss, if at all possible. If you made an error that you shouldn't have, if you did something stupid like I did with my Eagle trade earlier where I had that open order, if you do something stupid, then try to learn from that. But you should never take it personally. It does not mean that you are a good person or a bad person. Likewise, if you're a successful trader, it doesn't necessarily make you a good person. And certainly a losing trade does not make you a bad person. All right, folks. Well, I don't know what to tell you. Today is, like I said, one of those days the market just not in a cooperative mood. And I think it's partly because we're still in, oops, sorry, wrong chart. We're inside this broader range. See back here? The market definitely bullish, no question about that. We saw some very strong days. However, the closer we get to these highs, the more likely it is the sellers are going to try to do something about it. And here we go with the back and forth again. Well, we'll hang with it a little bit longer here. But if things don't start to shape up pretty quick, we may close things down a little bit earlier and come back tomorrow. See a lot of back and forth here. The hawk, look at this. Just a lot of back and forth stuff going on here. You can make these signals work, by the way, if your stops are large enough, but honestly, it's the type of day where you're just kind of better off leaving things alone. Yeah, Richard asks, is the NinjaTrader 8 Trade Manager discounted? Well, if you're referring to the trade calculator, yes, sir. You'll have to shoot me a link for that or an email for that. And here, I'll put my email in the window because I'll have to build you a special buy link for that. That would be for the trade calculator. The trade manager, of course, not programmed for Ninja 8, unfortunately. But yes, the springtime sale includes all the software at Indicator Warehouse. So if there's something that you've been looking at, something you've been thinking about, it's always nice when I can make a deal with the programmers to offer a discount on the software. And like I said, right now we are just really quite constipated. All right, gang. It's quarter to the hour. You know, things are really, really quiet here. I don't think we're going to miss too much. If you are going to continue trading today, I think we might see another move lower. I'm thinking that I'm thinking that the gap from this morning as well as these recent highs, may encourage some selling. Volume actually has been a little bit light in spite of the advancing prices, so that too may put a little bit of pressure on the sellers. All right, everyone. I will catch you again tomorrow. Today, really, though, the kind of day you may be better off going to do something else. Get out, enjoy the sunshine. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.